Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another box set review and unboxing video. And this is a band that I absolutely love. And this box set, which I reviewed a while ago now on the channel and on the website, is possibly my most favourite box set of all time from Madfish. It is The Vintage Years by Wishbone Ash. This, what I'm going to talk to you about today, is kind of like the brother or sister of that set, because it looks at one album in particular. So I'll just move that out of the way so I've got room. And it is Argos, the 50th anniversary box set, which at the time of doing this video has just been released. So I'm going to talk about what I think about it and my views, but first of all, let's have a look inside the box. So this is Wishbone Ash Argos, 50th Anniversary Edition, 1972-2022. It's a limited edition 7-disc box set. There are 3 CDs, including Martin Turner's Argos Remaster, live at the Alexandria Palace in 1973 and Memphis in 1972. 2 LPs, the original Argos replica remastered for this release, Argos Live, selected recordings from Alexandria and Memphis. There's a DVD, French and Swiss TV footage, live at the Rainbow 73 and RTS Broadcast from 1974. And there's a 7-inch single of No Easy Road and Blowin' Free, single versions, and a 48-page book with rare photos, exclusive liner notes, and contributions from Andy Powell, Martin Turner and Steve Upton. So I'm going to show you the box, and I'll talk about what I think of it at the end of it. There's a huge booklet in it, which I'll cover last of all. So it's a limited edition of 5,000 copies worldwide. Already mine, which arrived on the day release, is number 692. There's a 7-inch single of No Easy Road, it's 1972 single version, which is on red vinyl. There is a live vinyl album, which features tracks from the Alexandria Palace and Memphis radio broadcast as well. So Live Alexandria Palace is on side 1 with Blowin' Free and Sometime World, and side 2 is Time Was, Blowin' Free and Warrior from the Memphis radio broadcast. And this is on bright yellow vinyl. So there's 3 tracks on one side and 2 on the other. So that's vinyl album number 1. So I'll just put that away. As I say, I'll give my commentary of what I think at the end. And then vinyl album number 2 is, of course, the classic Argos album in its gatefold sleeve. So a complete replica, and then the album is on black vinyl. I don't have this on original vinyl, so I don't know if that was originally how it was portrayed, with all the tracks on one side of the label. And then underneath that are the CDs. Live in Memphis, 1972, 21st of August. Here's a simple gatefold sleeves, and all the tracks on the left hand side, picture of the band on the back. The second live disc is Alexandra Palace on the 22nd of December 1973, all the track titles. And then we have the DVD, which features 2 concerts really. They're short concerts, but I'll talk about this in my main review. French TV from the 10th of January 73 and the 5th of January 1974, a year later. And then finally there is the album itself, which is the Martin Turner Remaster, which also comes with some demo tracks, 4 demo tracks from the period as well. I'll just push that out of the way. So it's a softback book, but it's an excellent book, as you'll now see. There's a lot of love and attention has been put into this, and Madfish did this, of course, with the first Wishbone Ash Vintage Years box set as well. So this booklet goes through the whole history of the album, looking back at the time, The band, of course, are involved themselves. There's some great photographs, some great press cuttings. It talks about the songs, obviously, you know, how they were recorded, where they were recorded, you know, how people look back on the album as well, you know, how people's perceptions of it. There's some great press cuttings and posters. Steve Upton talks about the album, so does Andy Powell. You know, some fantastic stuff, really is, but it gets better and better as I go through this, and I've still got lots to read in it. Okay, it's only just arrived in many ways. Some great live photos. Let me just look at that one. And then it goes through the album track by track. This is, and each track, you've got Steve, Andy and Martin talking about each track in turn. It's absolutely superb. I cannot fault this at all. I cannot fault this at all. Some great photos I've never seen before. And then, of course, the live tracks as well. These are also talked about with Martin and Andy talking about them. And I think this is also a great touch. It really is. But this is even better, because I never would have thought this would have happened. But you even got a Mark II perspective. So Laurie Wildsfield has also been asked to contribute to what he feels about the album looking back, because obviously he played it for many years, didn't he? Tracks from this. And it's a 2-page spread just for him. And then we talk about the cover, The Guardian. Where is the sword? I found this fascinating, this whole area. You know, how Argus came together, the title of the title of the album, the whole adventure of how they decided to design the cover, and they actually went out there to take this photograph, which nowadays would have been done by Photoshop. Then you've got this great press cutting about how the album did in the polls of that year, why there wasn't a single, and all the way from Memphis. When I say why there wasn't a single, there wasn't an obvious single, so that's what I mean by that, really. And then all again, the lifeline here of the album then talks about all the different reissues, the CD issues, and how many different versions there have been. Some more great live shots. And then again, some more reflections from the band, from Hypnosis. And, you know, there's even a story about the guy who actually was the guy wearing the helmet in the album, and who he was, and his story as well. And then again, you know, some more final words on the classic album itself. And then we've got the credits at the back for all of the tracks from each disc. And the mastering, which is done by Pete Reynolds at Reynolds Mastering. So that's the box set for Argus 50th anniversary. And now I'll tell you what my thoughts are. So that was a look inside the 50th anniversary box set for Wishbone Ash's classic album, Argus. So what are my thoughts? Who's this aimed at? That might sound like a silly question, but I don't think it is. This is aimed at absolute uber Wishbone Ash fans. And some of you might be thinking, why is it multi-format? Can't there be a CD version? Is there, you know, or why can't we just buy the album? I don't know whether there's going to be separate things. But I think this is aimed at, there's only 5,000 copies, and I reckon looking at the number that I've got, 1,000 have probably already gone. It's just 5,000 worldwide. And I think with a lot of these things, with these collector's box sets, the idea is not that they hang around on the shelves for months, and as some of us might have waited to see if the price drops. These things are made, the research goes into them, the care and attention goes into them, they go for sale, they're sold, they're gone. And this is aimed at people who obviously feel very close connection to this album. I mean, my favourite Wishbone Ash album was probably New England, primarily because of where I came in and found the band. But through the vintage years and obviously collecting lots of Wishbone Ash albums over the years, Argus is my favourite Wishbone Ash album. So for me, I have a connection to this that goes very deep. So what are my thoughts? What do you get? You've seen the booklet, you've seen the CDs. There's no duplication in this set than there was in the vintage years. Now, I've never owned this album on vinyl, and so for me to have this vinyl album, this was again a trigger that it was another way of getting a mint version of the vinyl album. Could anything in this box set have been done better? let's just get that out of the way first of all. The only thing, and because you know this is a thing with Now Spinning Magazine and me and many of my viewers and readers, this could have been an anti-static polyline sleeve, but that shouldn't put you off. If you're an Argus fan, that is not going to put you off buying this box set. You can go and get those yourself and probably already have a pack, don't you, somewhere else in the house. But that would have been something that, you know, for it being a limited edition luxury set, polyline sleeves. But it's a side of this because I played this. It's a silent pressing. It sounds great. Some of you are going to ask, do I prefer the CD or the vinyl? I have to say, in this case, I'm probably not going to be neutral. In fact, this Martin Turner's version of this album, his mix, I think is definitive, which is why they've chosen it. I think it came out in 2002, was it? It was available then, and it came with 3 tracks from the Live in Memphis set. And then there was also a 2 CD version. These different versions are mentioned in the booklet. But this, to me, the deluxe version, which came with the BBC concert, can't hold a light to Martin Turner's version remaster. To me, it just sounds absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful, it really does. The single, it's nice, red vinyl. Would I've asked for anything different? Maybe a picture sleeve from a different part of the world, but it's no big deal. It's lovely to have that. It really is. The live vinyl album, this does sound a little bit bootleggish. Don't panic those you thinking, the live albums but like bootlegs. It just does a bit on the vinyl, and obviously there's a compromise. It's not a double vinyl album, so they've taken what they feel are the best tracks from the live CDs and given you a kind of a single live album release. I'm going to talk about the DVD because I love this. No, it's not like hours of footage, but what it is fascinating. A time capsule of this wonderful band. That we've got Blowin free, and it says an introduction. It's most of the track. There's a backstage interview where the interviewer is a bit too loud really to sometimes hear what the band is saying, but to see that the guys being so young and at the time were on the cusp of great success, and the first real track that you see is Pilgrim, and it's fantastic. And to see Andy Powell in his bomber jacket, and he's got long hair then, and they're just musicians playing their music. So in Blowin free, it's colour, the soundtrack's great. Pilgrim is brilliant. There's another backstage interview, and then it says the end of Phoenix, but it's a huge chunk of Phoenix for this section of the DVD, and it's just absolutely marvellous. It really is. And then the next one is literally a year later, in January 74, and by this time, although it's only 12 months, the band have all had different haircuts, because in the first one they've all got like long hair and velvet jackets and bomber jackets and stuff, but the second one they've all got, Andy Powell's got short hair now, wearing his white suit. Everyone's kind of like, maybe a bit more money's come in, but again, great stuff. It looks like it's black and white to start with because it starts with Jailbait, but it's not, it's in colour. And we've got Warrior, Blowin free, and again another snippet of Phoenix. But I love the DVD. I really did. There are 2 live CDs. Now, Live from Memphis, those tracks, well, 3 of them, have been available before on an earlier issue. They weren't available on the vintage set, but this is the whole of that radio broadcast. It's all of it. Now, it says audio taken from the best source available. It's not a bootleg. I have very low tolerance to bootlegs, so you can trust me on this. It's not probably live dates. It's probably just one notch down from that. But these tracks, 3 of them, have been available for a while. But this is probably the best they've sounded. And it's like any radio broadcast. It's at the beginning when they're getting their levels right, etc. But time was Blowin free, Jailbait, of course, which you'll know if you've bought the earlier version. Warrior, the Pilgrim. You can never have too many versions of the Pilgrim. Phoenix and Blind Eye. And the stereo separation on this is just brilliant. And, you know, the guitar playing, it's only when there's really kind of heavy bits where there's a little bit of overloaded signal perhaps, but it's minor. Seriously, your ears adapt, and it's, you know, it's a great concert. I don't know the source of the Alexandria Palace one, which is from 73. This sounds a little bit more bootleggy at the start, but again, once they get into the flow and the sound levels have been adjusted, Blowin' Free, Jailbait, No Easy Road, Baby, What Do You Want Me to Do, Sometime, World, The Pilgrim, you can never have too many copies of The Pilgrim, Where Will We Tomorrow, and The End Announcement. It's great, but the thing is that there's probably nothing left in the can. They haven't brought anything over from the vintage box set. So if, as an Argus fan, what you're getting here is unique to this set, apart from the fact if you bought Martin Turner's set. Now, whether that's being remastered or whatever, I don't know. I played a few tracks back to back from both discs, and they sound great. But what other questions may you have? Do I prefer the vinyl version, because apparently this is a remaster, or Martin Turner's CD? Martin Turner's CD. I've never owned this on vinyl before, so I can't comment on how it compares to a previous vinyl version. But all I know is that Martin's version of the album on CD is the one that I will play the most. The booklet, some of you might be saying, couldn't it have been hardback? I think for 50 odd pages, I think it would have been a bit overkill, to be honest. But I think this is absolutely full of detail, and it's the kind of thing. And again, who this is aimed at. This isn't aimed at a casual fan, is it? This is aimed at someone who just loves this album. And we talk a lot about, you know, you put an album on and you sit down and you browse through the credits on the album cover or the lyrics. With something like this, you're using all of your senses. You know, your ears, the tactile feel of touch, the visual aspect of being able to read so much aspects of, you know, literally a 360-degree view, literally train spotter's guide to this album, and all the band members have been involved, you know, in saying their thing. Even Laurie Walsfield, who wasn't even part of this, asking him what he thinks, tracking down the guy that wore the helmet on the cover. The story is remarkable how they came up with the album title and how that was put together. But sitting down with this is something that I really, really enjoyed. You know, I am the target audience, you know, for something like this. You know, it's absolutely marvellous. And the other thing, of course, is about a band like this, Wishbone Ash, and this album. When you read this, there's no gossip, there's no outrage or a kind of like, you know, the kind of thing you expect with, you know, many rock bands, you know, about all the things they went through and the kind of outrage and stuff like that. And stories, there's nothing. It's Wishbone Ash. Just 4 musicians who loved the music they were writing and making. And there's no backstory. They were just, you know, there's no like, you know, image that they had or whatever, or they're known for something symbolically. There's just Wishbone Ash. A great English rock band with a guitar sound that is just so unique. Twin guitar sound, some of you will think of Lizzie if you don't know Wishbone Ash that well, but these are clean guitar lines with such space and dynamic and feel between them. And you talk a lot about, you know, music like this where it's telepathically the musicians are kind of tuning in with each other. These guys were in the same room and they recorded this stuff. They were really young, between the ages of 21 and 24, I think. It's just absolutely fantastic. And every track, Time Was, Sometime World, Blowin' Free, and then, to me, the area where it really comes in, I love it all, but like The King Will Come, which is so relevant to today, Leaf and Stream, Warrior, Throw Down the Sword, fantastic. And there are 4 demos on this. Now, the demos do sound like someone put a cassette player in front of the band when they were just trying things out. You can actually hear them talking. And when I say that, there's again, like anything in those days, those of you of a certain age will know that when you press record on your tape deck, there was a surge of overloaded signal, but then it settled back, and this is what these are like. Reading the book and understanding how it came together and seeing the kind of what happened, how people absorbed the album, what people thought in the press, what the fans thought, what the band thinks about it, and then listening to the demos, listening to the live tracks, being involved, gives you, as I just said, a 360-degree immersion experience, in this box set. So if you are a fan of Wishbone Ash and you are a fan of Argus, then this box set is going to mean a lot to you. It really is. So that's Wishbone Ash Argus, the 50th anniversary edition from Madfish Records, which is out now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for subscribing and becoming patrons and becoming members of the YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Remember, take care, keep spinning those records, and remember, music is the doctor and the healer, and I shall talk to you very, very soon.